Perception is a strange thing. It can turn heroes into villains, and villains into visionaries. It can make truth look like deceit, and love feel like manipulation. See, most people don't see life through eyes. They see it through wounds, through bias, through memory, through pain. That's why two people can witness the same act of kindness, and one calls it love, while the other calls it control. We like to believe we understand people, but what we really understand is ourselves, reflected through them. And most of the time, we don't even get to see that reflection, because we're too busy standing in hypocrite mode, trying to project our own flaws, fears, and insecurities onto somebody else. So misunderstandings aren't born from lies. They're born from limits, the limits of how far our minds have healed and how clearly our hearts can see. Because when perception is broken, even a blessing can look like a threat. Now let me tell you a story. There was a man named Malcolm Price, a brother with more purpose than pride. He came from a part of town most people had already given up on. Boarded up homes, no grocery stores, just liquor stores and bad memories. Malcolm had this crazy dream to rebuild the same blocks that raised him. He found this huge abandoned apartment complex that had been sitting empty for nearly a decade. Most people saw it as a graveyard. He saw it as a blueprint for rebirth. But he knew dreams alone wouldn't buy bricks. So he started studying. He spent nights in the library, reading about opportunity zones, areas where investors and developers could revitalize neglected neighborhoods through tax incentives. He learned about community development grants and nonprofit partnerships that could turn forgotten properties into thriving public spaces. When the deal finally closed, he didn't just buy a building. He bought back hope. Over the next 2 years, Malcolm transformed that old complex into a community development center. It had everything the neighborhood had been missing: a small grocery store that sold fresh produce, a barbershop and salon run by local stylists, a cafe where kids could study after school, and classrooms where elders taught financial literacy, trade skills, and entrepreneurship. He even launched job programs that connected locals with real employment. The block felt alive again, hopeful again. They called him the Rebuilder. And for a while it felt like maybe things were finally changing. But progress has a way of making people suspicious. The whispers started soft, but not innocent. They had venom in them. You could feel the jealousy dripping from the words. He think he's somebody now. He must be stealing money on the low. Ain't no way all this free. Watch. He gonna sell this whole block back to the same folks who took it from us. Then it got darker. They started twisting his kindness into control. Don't let him fool you. He only helping y'all so he can own y'all later. He ain't building this for us. He building it to own us. And the worst one whispered like poison through the streets. Man, he probably working for them people. You know how they do? Use one of us to destroy the rest. None of it came from truth. It came from the rot inside them, from the bitterness that couldn't stand to see someone rise where they had fallen, from hearts that hated his freedom because it reminded them of their own chains. He tried to explain, tried to show receipts, host meetings, speak truth. But by the time the truth got dressed, the lie had already run the neighborhood. One night, while teaching a youth class inside the center, a brick came through the window, then another, then smoke. By the time he made it outside, flames had swallowed everything he built. The stores, the classrooms, the cafe, gone. And across the street, he saw faces he recognized. People he'd helped feed, teach, employ. Watching the fire like it was something they needed to see burn. Someone shouted, "That's what you get for thinking you better than us!" Malcolm dropped to his knees, and he just whispered, "This fire ain't a punishment. It's a revelation." And he was right, because sometimes destruction isn't just truth revealing itself. It's correction reminding us where the real work has to begin. It wasn't the building that burned. It was the illusion. The illusion that saving a neighborhood only takes money, programs, or buildings. When the real change, the lasting change, starts with the mind. You can rebuild walls, but if the people inside them still think broken, they'll burn down every blessing sent to save them. That's the hardest part about trying to heal a community. You can fix what they live in, but until you fix how they see, nothing truly changes. You can't rebuild a community until you first rebuild the way it thinks. This is the quote room, where words wake minds. Some things don't need a reaction, just reflection, just a few thoughts I had on my mind.